YouTube. Hope y'all are doing well. So today I'm going to be talking about my sign and the compatibility as well as how my sign deals with things. Now, my zodiac is, I was born June 13th, 1991. So I am a Gemini. And I've also been told like it's not only just the month and the day that you're born that's supposed to matter, but it's also the year. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. So Geminis are, if y'all know, they're the twins. You either have an evil twin or you have a good twin. And I suppose like the twins are always kind of going back and forth and kind of struggling to, see who has more power than the other. So the four compatibility signs that Geminis are compatible with is Aries, Leo, Libra, and Aquarius. So let me just start off with Leos. Now, for me, it kind of just depends on the gender. Some genders I get along with more than in some signs than I do with others. So take for example Leo. Leo men I get along with really, really well. My brother two of my brothers and my dad are both Leos, as well as one of my good friends. He's a Leo as well. So we just get along really, really well. Leo women, on the other hand, I don't know what it is, but we don't get along with them. Or at least I don't. I don't really get along with them because it's kind of like, I guess in a friendship, a Leo woman is kind of always trying to be like the top person. And for Geminis, we just kind of don't really care. We're just like, okay, I'm about to go have some fun over here. So yeah, that's as far as like that goes for like Leo women and Leo men. Libras, we get along with, I get along with Libra women really, really well just because their humor is so funny. And the fact that they'll just basically say whatever is on their mind. Like they just don't really care. So that's why I get along with a lot of Libra women, because they just kind of say what's on their mind and it's hilarious. And it's always a good time with a Libra woman. Now with Aquariuses, I have found with both genders, I get along with really, really well. Aquarius men are very laid back, easygoing, and Aquarius women are very laid back and easygoing. And that just goes really, really well with a Gemini, because while Aquariuses are really laid back at a party and kind of just easygoing, they'll go with the flow and everything, Gemini women, or Geminis in general, want to be the life of the party. They kind of want to be up in everybody's business and doing everything. So Aquariuses are really good because they just kind of let Geminis be Geminis, and they don't really try and hold us back, and they really don't. They don't really try and like hold us back or compete with us, I guess. Whereas Leo women, like, they're always trying to compete, and we don't really have time for that as a Gemini. Now the last sign that there is that we're supposed to be compatible with is Aries. I am not compatible with Aries men. And the reason why is just because for Geminis, there's always two people going at it. There's always two people kind of thinking. There's the good twin and then there's the bad twin. And with Aries, it's kind of like they're always thinking as well, but it's kind of like they're always thinking about how they can get the next best thing. And for Geminis, it's just kind of like we just kind of don't really care. And if you come at us and try and use us, we're going to be like, excuse me, hold up, like, wait a minute. Let me put some Gemini in it. Yeah, so Aries men I'm not compatible with. I'm sure I'd be compatible with Aries women though, but Aries men, it's just, there's something about them where they kind of can be manipulators. and it's not all Aries men, but they're always thinking. They're always thinking, what's the next best thing? Um, Now, the last sign that I'm going to cover, the compatible like with compatibility, is Gemini, like Gemini to Gemini. Gemini women, I get along with very, very well, because here's the difference between a Gemini woman and a Leo woman. If you tell a Leo woman to screw off, she's going to get pissed off and butthurt. If you tell a Gemini woman to screw off, she's going to be like, I don't really care. She's not. Um, so I am very, very compatible with Gemini women. Gemini men, I'm compatible with as far as friendships go. Now, if a relationship gets into it, or I guess gets into the mix of it, it gets a little bit confusing, as well as it gets a little bit complicated, because Geminis, we're just naturally flirtatious, and men especially, Gemini men especially, are very, very flirtatious, and it can kind of get annoying for a Gemini woman if he's going on and being flirtatious with other women. And so yeah, so I'm very compatible with Gemini men as long as I'm just friends with them. But when two Geminis get together, regardless of, regardless of relationships or friendships, I think that they make a really good match, just because they can keep up. Geminis can keep up with each other. They're always thinking of something new, something innovative, something interesting, and that is really, really good for Geminis as far as the compatibility goes. Now, the two least compatible signs that Geminis have are with Virgos and Pisces. And I'm going to throw in one more Zodiac in there as well. But I will say with Virgos, they tend to be a little bit on the crabby side, which can make it hard for a Gemini to want to be around them. And so they're just kind of busy being the life of the party, and Virgos are kind of not. The other sign is Pisces. Pisces, I really don't know that much about, so I'm not really going to cover that. But the last sign that I feel like Geminis are not compatible with are also Cancers. Cancers are, how do I say this? They're very, very emotional, and they like to think with their heart instead of thinking with their brain. And that's not a bad thing, but when you put a Gemini together with a Cancer, sometimes it can be really tumultuous, because Geminis kind of go more on what is rational, and Cancers like to go off of what is more how they feel about something. Another reason why I guess Cancers and Geminis don't really mix all that well is because we're very, very blunt, and we kind of say it how it is, where Cancers, they aren't that blunt, and they kind of they do really feel like, I guess they have to be careful with how they say things, because they don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but they also don't want their feelings to be hurt as well. So that can make for a really bad combination sometimes. The only kind of Cancer that I tend to get along with is Cancers who are a little bit older and a little bit more experienced with the world. And that actually does make for a really good combination. Let me think here. So yeah, those two signs, I really feel like they kind of clash and bash. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of Pisces, because Pisces hasn't really struck out at me. But Virgos definitely, I think that's the reason why Virgos and Cancers, I kind of are like the least compatible with Geminis, just because they're kind of crabby. Now, one downfall that a Gemini has is that we can be kind of childish. We can be kind of petty. So if you come at us with something petty, then we're just going to come at you with something petty. And that sucks. Sometimes if it comes down to it, if you lie to a Gemini, they can do one of two things. Well, at least this is what I do. So don't take it from me. If you lie to a Gemini, we'll either call you straight out on your bullshit, or if you're still in our circle of friends or whatever, we'll play along with you. Like, we'll be like, oh, okay. And if you're fake to us, like, we'll be fake to you. And that's just how Geminis are. Me as a Gemini, as far as like, if somebody lies to me or something, I'm just kind of like, okay, and then like I'll move on. Like, I won't, like, most of the time I just won't even say anything to that person, and like I'll kind of like just basically stop being friends with them, and they kind of will just be in like in the midst of everything going on, they'll be like, wait, why is she not friends with me anymore? Why did she stop talking to me anymore? Like, why isn't she not talking to me anymore? And yeah, that's how Geminis are. Like, we just kind of don't really put up with that, but at the same time, it's just also because there's other things going on that probably are a little bit more interesting to us, which brings me to my next point. If a Gemini gets bored with a sign, we are going to move on. Like, we're not going to stick around, and it sucks, but we just kind of like to be the life of the party. We like to go and do things, and are always thinking of new things. And so if somebody is really boring to us, if a sign is really coming out off as boring to us, we don't really stick around. So that is kind of, I guess, the good things and the bad things about Geminis and the compatibilities. Another thing is that Geminis, we typically like to be the life of the party. Sometimes people like me, Geminis like me, we sometimes don't. We kind of like to be in the background watching things go. And that's just sometimes how we are. Like, not all Geminis are going to be outgoing or the life of the party or things like that. Now, give me a couple of Dos Equis and some whiskey, and I will be the life of the party. I'm not going to talk about compatibility as far as like sex goes, but I will say we Geminis are kinky as hell. I will say that. We're kinky as hell, but I'm not going to really like cover that. If y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and thank y'all for watching. Bye!